As we continue in Matthew's Gospel in chapter 26 from verse 69 through chapter 27 verse 10, we see Jesus before Caiaphas and Jesus starting before Pilate, and in between we have this scene with Peter. And part of what Matthew is doing is showing the faithfulness, the courage, the truth-telling of Jesus compared to the fear, the disobedience, the faithlessness, and even the lying of Simon Peter. And so you have this little pericope at the end of chapter 26 in verses 69 through 75, where Peter is outside the courtyard and a servant girl comes up to him and accuses or says, "You were with Jesus the Galilean." But he denied it before all of them, saying, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then he went out on the porch, and another servant girl saw it, and she said to the bystanders, "This man was with Jesus of Nazareth." And again he denied it with an oath, "I do not know the man." And that brings us to our verse of the day, verse 73. After a little while, the bystanders came up and said to Peter, "Certainly you are also one of them, for your accent betrays you." And then he began to curse and swore an oath, "I do not know the man." And at that moment the cock crowed, and Peter remembered what Jesus had said about him denying him 3 times before the cock crowed, and he went out and he wept bitterly. Oof. This was possibly the lowest moment of Peter's life. This was the one who was supposed to be the rock on whom Jesus was going to build his church, and he didn't have the courage to even admit he was with Jesus to a servant girl. And he's a strong, powerful fisherman. Well, the thing I want to highlight today is how that phrase, "your accent betrays you." The Galileans spoke slightly differently, just like we might say it used to be the case, some of us who were born and raised in eastern Massachusetts, by how we said ka or yad or era, that would give us away. People from the deep south can have an accent that gives them away as far as where they were from. And the question I would just want you to ponder is, are you following Jesus closely enough? Are you living the kind of life that Jesus calls us to live in such a way that in your speech, in your actions, do you have a Galilean accent? Would people say of you what the servant girl and the bystanders said of Simon Peter? Well, clearly you were with him because your accent betrays you. I want to live my life, and I hope you want to live your life in such a way that it's obvious to people, as it was to those confronting Peter, that we have been with Jesus.